Is Patriot Sentinel, where truth doesn't whisper, it roars. Hosted by Richard Tortorello, we're cutting through the noise to talk government, politics, fairness, the Constitution, community, and God. Stand up, speak out. The watch begins now.
I got to thank Nicole Vigrowski for doing the intro. We played this last session, and I had it on my notes to thank her. I'm Richard Tortorello, your host. I have Cam, Falcon, and Gloria, Brat 1. And we had an interesting leading up to the podcast. My entire city in the west side of Norman is no power, and the generator kicked on, and the entire neighborhood is in darkness, and we have the only lights. And so I hope my neighbors don't revolt, or give us some food, give us some water. But look, OEC in Norman is the best power company, and
Don't even gloat.
I'm sure they'll get the power back up. But having a generator, it should be the number one thing on every family's list, as far as surviving things like this. We are discussing the coming insurrection this Friday, November 1st. Actually, it's Saturday, but SNAP benefits may not be paid out Friday. And social media posts from the Democrats to their people are claiming that if those benefits are not paid out on Friday, they're going to steal from stores and white people. We come to a situation in America where discourse such as this is the one way path to ruin for the entire country. There was a time 20 years ago, maybe 30 years ago, that you can have conversations with your neighbors, Democrats, and you would still go away respecting each other. Now we can't have those conversations. We have far left politicians advocating for harm to anybody identifying as Republican, anybody with a MAGA shirt or a hat, or anyone supporting Trump. This is not the way that we should act as Americans. This is a disaster waiting to happen. Last week, the 13th resolution that was presented to the Democrats was paying the military and 500,000 civilian employees. The Democrats still did not come to the table to sign the 13th CR. So this is now truly their shutdown. But when you tell your constituents to come and attack the people who have been voting, our Republican representatives have been voting, we need 60 votes to get anything passed in the Senate. We have an X number amount of Republicans, and we need Democrats to come and vote along with us. We cannot just pass this on our own. That's not the way it works. So, Democrats, if you're listening to this tonight, locally here in Oklahoma, I think it's time for you to stand up. Stand up
Absolutely.
to the National Democratic Party, work with Governor Stitt to get some sort of SNAP benefits to the people here in Oklahoma, at least. And let's not descend into chaos, because in Oklahoma, the one thing that separates us from everybody else, locally besides Texas, is we have constitutional carry, which means we're all polite, which means whatever happens nationwide, thank God, would not happen in Oklahoma. Now, Gloria, you've been following the
Well,
story. So tell us what you found and what's going on.
it shouldn't happen in Oklahoma, but people are people and humans are humans. And I think it could happen in Oklahoma. And I am very disgusted at Newsmax earlier. Pardon me, hang on. Newsmax earlier mentioned something about if you're a white woman and you're in the store, I am going to kill you.
Mm,
How is that okay?
mm,
Why is this about race? Where is race included in any of this? Because listen, the last I checked, I know everybody has not everybody. Let me rephrase that. I know plenty of men and women that have been on SNAP for various reasons, food stamps, WIC, whatever. You don't know somebody's life. You have no these I think these women are so far left that the devil is working through them. And men need to start calling them out. Where are the men? Why aren't the men standing up and calling them out? I mean, I see plenty of men that call these women out. I mean, and it's not a racist issue. This is
Mm-mm.
not a color issue. This is nothing. But for women to say they want to kill women that are white because they're not getting their way is it's an atrocity.
Kim, your thoughts?
Hey, hey. So first I want to start with I'm very proud that 77 counties voted for Trump. So we are a very red state. Uh, on
Hmm.
top of that, this has been the 11th time that Democrats have voted the government to be shut down again, right?
Yep.
Uh, when we talk about insurrection, this is not a new anomaly at all. Uh, when we're talking about Democrat nominees, when Hillary ran, the person that the people voted was Bernie Sanders, but Hillary Clinton was the one who got the presidential nominee. When we come back around again, Biden was voted in by the people, and then Kamala Harris was the one who was nominated for the presidential race. Again, they tried to remove President Trump from the ballot. uh how many times is this gonna happen to say, guys, stop it, you guys are doing too much? This my best thing I could say. If I was a campaign manager, I would be looking at each senate district and how many seats can I flip into Republican, because this is not good for the people.
It's not. I'm just no.
No, it's not.
Kevin Stitt came out. I saw a story today that he was working with the federal government to get SNAP benefits to people who deserve them. I think that anybody on SNAP now deserves them. So we're not going to call people out for receiving SNAP. That's not what we do. If they
Nope.
are on the program, and then it's obvious that they need it. So, so that is leadership. That's Republican leadership, and I'm not sure how many Democrats. I hope that our Democrat delegation to the state capitol had asked Kevin Stitt or Governor Stitt if he would look into working with the federal government to at least ensure that Oklahomans are taken care of. Um, that is leadership. What I don't hear, and I've seen these videos. We were going to play one, but I don't think we should. But you've seen the videos, okay, on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where you have. I've seen like 25 in the last couple days that if they don't get their SNAP benefits, they're going to riot on Friday. There was a video sent to me on Instagram where a black lady was actually taking groceries out of a white woman's cart in the parking lot. And she
Hmm.
was calling the police, and somebody was filming this. The guy who was filming this, why didn't you go out and stop her to help her? Because
That's what I'm saying.
she was a victim of a crime. And I don't
Yes.
understand. So the men you're talking about, okay, so we don't know what ideology they profess to have, but a guy was actually recording that in his car, watching this woman get all her shit stolen and put into another car, and he didn't go out and stop her. Now, I think in Oklahoma, if anybody had witnessed that, we would have gotten out, called 911 first, and go out and see where we can, help diffuse the situation. But again, in Oklahoma, I don't think we're going to see anything like that because everyone's carrying concealed carry. You just look, we're polite because of that. And I think it's a good idea for
Absolutely.
every state to have concealed carry or constitutional carry. Um, Anything else you found on that? Do you want to talk about?
Well,
Brat?
the we touched based on this
Yeah.
last week, that when people lose the ability to trust in law enforcement, then people start taking the law right on their hands. So this is where I will say, it looks like it's a breaking point, and I'm afraid, I'm very fearful of it, because that's where you could see people who come in as extremists. So I'm sad for people who are needing the SNAP benefits. The wrong message has been sent out for people to be violent. And again, that's what separates Republicans versus Democrats. Look what happened with Charlie Kirk. There was no burning buildings or burglary when that happened. So that's my final thoughts on this.
Cam, so you're the only government employee here that's employed. It's considered mission essential. So tell us what's going on with the government shutdown and how that's affecting Tinker Air Force Base.
Man, I'll be honest. Again, everybody saw that uh, it's been the 11th time that this was voted down by Senate. Not from the Republican Party. You know, unfortunately, the Democrats were part of this. Chuck Schumer, he's not doing his part. Now, with that being said, I have questions. Like why? I wonder if this is going to be, the fiscal year for federal government starts in October 1st and ends in September 30th, right? And then in this coming up cycle, the data was supposed to be released for the Federal Reserve about interest rates. And economists are saying that our interest rates should be either at 4% reporting to 3.25%. So that means we're doing something right, right? And then when we're looking at unemployment rates, it's speculating that unemployment rates are also decreasing to or staying even when everybody
Exactly.
said, oh, unemployment is going to, rise to like almost the Great Depression. No, people are not saying that. The other thing that I'm kind of like looking at is uh, the health insurance. Are health companies really pushing to get more money? They're talking about asking for $1.5 trillion in the
Right.
lifespan of Obamacare. The Act for affordable health care.
1.5
Is
trillion.
that really
1.5.
affordable for
No,
my generation and my child's generation? So
no.
this is where we'll say when we're looking as taxpayers, are the people that we have elected, are they doing the job that they're supposed to do as how we voted them? If the answer is no, then why do we still re-electing these guys?
Exactly. And that's the frustration with the
Exactly.
electorate, that they see these politicians go back to DC or to Oklahoma City and promising they'll do this, they'll be different this time, but nothing changes. Thank God that we have a majority Republican legislature, but the Democrats' latest scheme is about to change that. So for those that don't know or understand what State Question 836 is, it's a state question. They're out collecting signatures today. It started today. If they get the signatures required, it might be on the ballot in November of 2026 for the entire state to vote on. And what this does, it allows. So our system here in Oklahoma for the Republican Party, we have a closed primary, which means only Republicans can participate in our primaries. The Democrats, they're open. They allow anyone, including independents, to participate in their primaries. So why are they attacking Oklahoma Republican primaries? It's because we have a lot of Republican candidates running for office, and we have a lot of Republican candidates win their seats. We have incumbents winning their seats. And the Democrat Party wants to influence our primary. And so when I'm driving and we're going from county to county to GOP to the OK2A folks and having this conversation, what they want to do is participate and choose the weakest Republican candidate for that district. So that's their plan. And they have 4 bullet points, and I'm not going to get into them right now, but the underlining issue with open primaries is that they're going to use a state question and a ballot to force, if this happens, the Republican Party to allow Democrats and independents to participate in our primary. And that will be a disaster for the Republican Party. So the big push now is declined to sign. And that is a statement that every Republican who watches this should go out and talk to their friends, family, neighbors, that if you're a Republican, don't sign this. Okay? It
Right.
will be a Trojan horse for the Republican Party. Because can you imagine if this was passed 2 years ago and it was law that the term they use, okay, is it's called the jungle primary, okay, and it's a term that people just don't understand. It's not racist, but what it is that they have on a ballot potentially in a district or an entire state a bunch of candidates on the primary on the same ballot. Okay. And in this state here, for example, if we have someone running for Mark Wayne Mullen's seats or any of the other seats, if you have 5 or 6 Republicans running in the primary and they have a Democrat slash undercover Republican or a rhino as their choice, theoretically, that all the Democrats will go ahead and vote for that person, that the weakest Republican, while our vote is split with all our candidates. And the best way I can say this, that's what a jungle primary is to dilute the conservative vote. Because anyone who identifies Gloria as a Republican and those that identify themselves as a conservative, we're the ones that are going out promoting our candidate, and we're the ones that are voting in the primary. And so if they can
Right.
dilute that vote, then we have no voice. Do you agree?
I do agree with that. And something else too, that the way open primaries work, it's dangerous. And the thing of it is this initiative petition that was filed by whoever, say yes to OK 836, whatever, would basically it would appear on one primary ballot regardless of your party. And then the top two vote getters move forward to the general election. In this state, I would think that it would always be a Republican, but that doesn't happen in large towns. And we got to remember, Oklahoma City is turning purple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's happened for many, many years. And larger cities like Tulsa and Oklahoma City are purple. So, let's take Washington State, for example. Washington State, guess who decides for the whole damn state? It's Seattle. That's ridiculous. That one county. So, do we make smaller counties and have 145 counties instead of 77 because Oklahoma County is too big? That's a question for Larry Stein, our county assessor. I'm going to ask him next time I see him.
True.
So, that's all I
Cam,
have to say. Open
what?
primaries are dangerous for Oklahoma, period, for all parties.
Cam, do you think it's likely that if open primaries existed today and we are going to vote for a new governor next year, that maybe the top 2 vote getters in the entire state after the primary in June are Kamala Harris type person or Tampon Tim as our only choices to vote on?
So that's the future that I fear for my children. So one of the things that I'm thinking right now is, like Gloria said, Washington State in 2008. That's when they passed the jungle primaries,
A
right? And
bald
she's
spot.
completely right. If Seattle's the only entity that elects their officials, then what happens to the rural communities? Right? Imagine Oklahoma City and Tulsa City are able to elect your next governor. How is that representation going to happen? We will never have a governor state. We will never have somebody from the rural communities ever represented, right? So to say that, it's I fear that if Oklahoma, as one of the best integrity in voting elections and all that, if we move this way, 836, if we get that passed, it will be the biggest mistake because we'll be creating a new Washington State or California. And what are we trying to prevent here in Oklahoma? That saying that don't California my Oklahoma.
That's
That's
right.
what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen.
Yep. You're
So,
right. It will. And we
so
can't let it.
no, Glory, we can't let it. So,
And I
how do
want
we?
to give a shout out to OCPA because they're the only one. Rashard and I were on that board, and they're the only ones that are calling out this state question 836. And that's when Rashard took the lead and started going around the state. So I was at the very beginning of it, and it's gained a lot of momentum. But it's one person. Him and Wendy were doing it, and it. There is not enough
No.
time to allow this to continue without our state GOP and the Tulsa GOP getting involved.
Exactly. So the state GOP, they are involved, and what we need to do is continue to realize that as a team, we have to work with all Republicans.
We have to, absolutely.
So this is a time for Republicans to put their swords down and raise their shields in unity, because we have 1.2 million registered Republicans and about a million registered Democrats and independents. The margins for this is slim, and this is why I think, and we've discussed this before, Cam, that the Republicans, we are independent thinkers, and we should stay independent thinkers, but we shouldn't take our ways and enforce them, our views on other
You're
Republicans.
exactly right.
And
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 I'm going to say something. Hold on, Rashard, because I just went on the OKGOP. Where is, oh, okay. I digress.
you see it?
They have okay, they don't have a page, but they have a help us fight state question 836, but that's all they have. That's not enough. Okay. That's
Well,
not enough. That doesn't explain what it is.
so we do need money because look,
We do need
the
money. That's
the
right.
pro 836 folks have had almost 10 months of earned media attention and donors to the cause. And so,
Uh-huh.
I think some were hoping that the lawsuit against them would shut it down, and that didn't, because I remember when we met with OCPA back in March, Gloria, I said that they're not going to wait for anything, that they're going to continue deploying their assets around the state, preparing for the signature drive. They're not going to wait. Okay, and I was proven right. I've been wrong many times, but I was correct on this. Is that they weren't waiting. They won their injunction against 1027, so now they can continue doing what they're doing. And so Democrats should be worried about this, and independents too, because it goes both ways. If you
Libertarian, it
think
goes for everybody.
if you think you can influence our primaries, we can influence yours too. And there's a lot
That's
more
right.
of us. Okay, so it goes both ways. So
Mhm.
the point is that open primaries, as a state law, is bad for Oklahoma. It's bad for Democrats. It's bad for independents and libertarians. They'll never have a voice again. They'll be in the wilderness. So one of the things, one of the bullet statements that the pro 836 folks are saying is that there are 400,000 independents in the state that are disenfranchised, and they can't vote in the Republican primary. But where are they voting now? They've always voted in the Democrat primary. So are they saying to us that the Democrats have crappy candidates and they can't vote for them anymore? I mean, look, they're already voting in the Democrat primary, um, and the Democrats allow that. Okay, maybe that's why they have crappy candidates go forward. If that's true, then this is what we have to look forward to. Now, we need every Republican, every conservative, every far leaning, neocon, moderate to get to the ballot box in November of next year and vote no, because that's the only way to save how we do things and how we pick our primary candidates in Oklahoma. If this
Oh,
passes, if
yeah.
this
Well,
passes,
listen, we've
Gloria,
got Republicans that want it to go. We got
well,
Republicans that want it to change.
but those Republicans are rhinos anyways, and who knows how long they change since they changed their uh, affiliation to Republican. Don't forget, Rush Limbaugh was the first one to suggest it in Operation
Yep.
Chaos. Cam, remember this? Where
I miss him.
he wanted all the Republicans to change their affiliation to Democrat just to mess with the Clinton
That's
reelection
right.
campaign. Remember that?
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
I think, Cam, I think those Democrats have stayed. They registered Republican to mess with ours, but the Republicans who are supporting this are rhinos. Am I wrong?
No,
Well,
you're not wrong.
I'm gonna use
You're not
Derwin's
wrong.
quote on this one. This is where we gotta go rhino hunting and call him out. I'm sorry. I think that if whoever is pro 836, we need to call them out about what they are. I'm sorry, you're not a Republican.
No, you're not.
We need to call them out. But the one thing that's important is that all the Republicans have to band together. Okay, put their swords down, raise their shields.
Yep,
This is
I
the
agree.
only way for us to defeat this because not only do we have that on the ballot, we have recreational marijuana. Okay, and it'll bring next year will be a record turnout for that election cycle. If open primaries, I'm going to make another prediction. They've been right so far. If the state passes open primaries, it'll be all it takes is one election cycle, domino effect to change the course of this state. Can you imagine a Republican governor? I'm using air quotes that is soft on the Second Amendment.
Oh,
A Republican governor that is soft on pro-life. Can you imagine that happening? I mean, so this is why the OK2A folks are heavily invested in this fight because we want to maintain the same values. And look, there's
Right.
nothing wrong. If you're going to be a rhino, be a rhino. I don't care. Okay. But share our values if you're going to be saying you're a Republican. They don't share the same values. That's why this will never work
That's
the way
that.
that
You're
they
exactly right
intend it to
because
happen.
values unite us.
mhm.
And Cam,
Hmm.
Rashar and I ran into somebody yesterday, Derek Scobie, who used to
How
be
did
the
that
Democrat.
go?
Yeah, they went great, fantastic. He is now an independent, and I went ahead and invited him over to the Republican Party because he really aligns with us. And I said, "Hey, it's the values that unite us, Derek." And he goes, "Yeah, because I'm no Democrat." He said that. I really
So
like the guy.
you're telling me that he's finally seen the light?
Yeah, he saw the light
He did.
and a few other choice words too.
I met him, and she was insisted that I meet him, and
Yes, I was.
she was trying to get out. So she told, I need to go to a class. I got to be to a class. And I was saying, gotta go, gotta go. I was kind of herding a cat along to get away from this point A to point B,
Hey,
and she
I
stopped
introduced
at,
Rashard to a lot of
and she
people.
popped, and she stopped at point Z, and so I'm just trying to help you out. But I did like the guy, and he seems more conservative.
Yeah,
Um,
he does.
but you
But
know
he
what?
should be. He's a
Yes,
pastor. He's a
Well,
pastor. I'm
well,
sorry that this
that's
is
what I'm saying. How can you be a Catholic and be a Democrat? Tell me how.
to me to me that's
I am a
oxymoron.
Catholic. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's hypocritical when you don't value your alignment with values, right? And so that's why I'm a Frederick Douglass Republican.
Hmm. Yeah. No,
what
I
is it?
think that. Go
Well,
ahead.
go ahead, Cam. Say what's on your mind.
No,
Come at me.
that's one thing that I will say is my the feedback I give back to the community is that we're not behaving the way we're speaking. So if I have a pastor that is registered as a Democrat, but you're talking about family values and protecting our children from altering all this stuff, but you're a registered Democrat, that your values don't align. So why should I listen to uh,
Mm-hmm.
your teachings or your lessons uh, if you're not really working the way you're supposed to be acting?
What
All I'm
about
saying.
Obama's pastor? I mean, if all pastors were good pastors. I'm sure he's good, but Obama's pastor, if you remember him, he was like far left, like more power to the black guy. Let's go do this, and
Yeah,
so look, I think the most important thing for conservatives is the shared values that we have,
Yep.
and we have to remember that because you may not agree with me doesn't mean that you're my enemy, nor does it mean that I need to primary you. And we have
right.
to get away from that because 1.2 slim margins, we need everyone to be on the same page. And I would like one day that all Republicans, regardless of how moderate you are or how neocon, because don't forget, Cam and I were in the military, and of course we were neocons. Let's blow the shit out of everything and kill the bad guys, right, Cam?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do.
And it's only because I've gotten older and wisdom. I'm retired. I've done, city council. I've done a lot of things here that I've come to a point where I'm just tired of all the nonsense and fighting. And I'm sure the Democrats have their own issues internally. It seems like Republican issues are forefront. They're right here, and they shouldn't be there. So good points, good questions on this discussion on 836. Um, because we had a power outage, um, it slowed us and put us behind schedule. We are at the 30-minute mark, and I'm going to play one video. And
Wait, I have a joke. Hold on.
go
Because,
ahead,
it's Halloween.
go ahead.
What kind of music do mummies listen to? Rat
Um,
music.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, wait, that's corny. Hold on. I got a second one. How many skunks does it take to make a stink? Just a few.
uh,
Corny but funny.
hey, one last thing before we go to last thoughts before we show the video. So we did go to Chip Keating's launch
Oh,
party last night.
hang on. Hang on. Wait. I
What?
lost
What?
you. I
What?
lost you. Oh, okay. There
You,
we go. I
you
got you back.
you're there. So Glory and I went to report on Chip Keating's launch party, and Glory, she attended as my second, and I was impressed by the number of people there, the venue, and the whole procession. His speech, um, a Trump candidate, a MAGA guy. Um, what were your thoughts last night, Gloria?
I will say, listening to Governor Frank Keating talk, listening to former First Lady Kathy
Kathy
Keating.
Keating.
I said Kathy. I couldn't remember Keating. I don't know what happened to me. Hey, I'm just getting over a cold, y'all. Forgive me for just a minute. Anyhow, I adore Kathy. She's a beautiful, beautiful lady. Uh, but when she introduced her daughter-in-law, because let me tell you, I really liked what Carol Hefner said when she was speaking on behalf of Charles McCall, that the wife does matter, because you want a wife that's going to be a perfect first lady who is going to support you, the governor, 100%.
Yep.
That's the person you sleep with. That's the person you hear snore at night. Okay, I'm reversing that. The men snore, women don't snore. But that's what I'm saying. I think that the way that Miss Keating talked about her was phenomenal, and the way Chip talked about her, I think that he's got a real shot at being governor.
Cam, I don't know if you
And
know.
let me tell you, those kids. Let me tell you, I love Charlie Kirk, and I think that this movement in this moment is huge. What's happening, and it's awakened so many people, because there's a thing called OCIA, for it's the Orders of Christian Initiation into Catholicism, right? And they're wide spread, at all the churches that have this are having more members than they've ever had. So people are converting to Catholicism in large numbers. And I think it has a lot to do, because we have a lot of young people, and it has a lot to do with what happened to Charlie Kirk. So that's a movement. Well, what happens when you get that movement on you, and you're the kind of person that wants to be governor, and you bring in the youth? They're the driving force of what's going to happen in politics. So these kids are turning 18, they're registering to vote Republican. They're going to be a breath of fresh air to all of us who've been lackadaisical, poop in the scoop, whatever you want to call it, being just lazy, whatever, not showing up to vote in polls. And we got to get all of our elections back in November. We need to stop these monthly elections. I can go on and on. So I have one more joke for y'all,
Wait.
just
That's
because
your.
I'm funny.
Okay, go ahead. Okay.
What is a little bear with no teeth called?
A gummy bear?
A gummy bear.
Uh,
Okay,
we
for
can see
y'all,
that
remember
your third glass of
the
wine
gummy
tonight.
bear.
So, Cam, any last thoughts?
Hey, so for Keating's race, I always look at one, the level of professionalism. How are you going to present yourself to the community and your
Hmm.
audience, right?
Hmm.
But also, I like looking behind the curtain, and I'm looking how well the campaign people are working and helping him develop into a good candidate.
Mm.
So this is where one of the things I'll say. I'm watching the campaign teams, and that is a impressive campaign team.
Absolutely.
I would have to agree. So, when we showed up last night, remember Gloria, Frank Keating came up to me and said, "What's going on? Where you been at? I haven't seen you in a while." But what I enjoyed the most was Kathy coming and hugging me and holding my hand and like, catching up. And
Yep.
I don't know, that really made a difference when they recognized. No, seriously, no, she, Gloria, I mean, she was like, "Come here, where you been at?" And as we were
Hmm.
talking, she was
I just love
she was
her.
holding my hand as we're having a conversation, and through the entire conversation, and that made a big impression on me. And next week we'll have Rachel Lee
And I
Ackerman
want to
on.
say she wasn't like that with everybody.
No, she
No,
no, she
with
wasn't.
she was not like that with anybody else. Only you and I.
Well,
Hey,
me, but she didn't touch your
hey,
hand.
I
Rashard,
said you and
Rashard.
I.
So
Wait, wait,
if
wait, wait,
you're
wait. Hold on,
stuck in
hold
an
on, hold on, hold
airport,
on, hold that thought. So next week we're gonna have Rachel Lee Ackerman on, and she has been interviewing all the governors and lieutenant governors. I think I know the governors and the AGs. So she'll be on to kind of give her impression of the common messages that she's seen between the candidates. She's not advocating for anyone in particular, but just the commonalities because she's spoken to them and she showed their reels and so she'll be on next week with us. Cam, what were you saying?
hey, so for Kathy, are you telling me that if you're stuck in an airport, you would want to sit with her and have a drink? Is that what you're telling me?
I think I would have Frank Keating there because they're going to drink wine, and I'm a
Of
whiskey
course.
guy here. But yes, in a 3 hour layover test
There's nothing wrong with wine.
at Chicago O'Hare, I think it would be cool to have Frank, Kathy, and Chip in a
That would be fun.
conversation.
That
That
would
would
be
be
fun.
great. Now it does matter. Look, family connections and relations matter when it
Mhm.
comes to elections because that's how they reach out individually to the voters, making
Sure.
each one
Yeah.
feel, like you're part of the family. And um, Faith Garver is on here, and she had made comments that what did she say? I'm scrolling through the comments here, and
Uh-huh.
sorry we can't answer all the questions here, but she said Chip Keating for governor. Yeah, that's okay. Where is it? Very gracious family. Um, that are serving, and she is right. So, here it is. She's like that, referring to Kathy Keating, that
Yeah, sure. She is.
she's very
Hmm.
gracious. But
She is
you're
very
right.
gracious.
I noticed last night that that not everybody, um, she didn't touch everybody. I don't know. I don't, she didn't hold her hands, but I love that connection I had with her. And
Yeah.
so we're gonna have to call it a night. We're not gonna show video.
Oh,
Okay. I want to show a video.
hold on.
I've
I
near,
want to say something.
wait.
Derwin Romani is on Facebook as well, and
What's he
he has
saying?
been working with Eric Scobie, and so I think that needs to be mentioned because he's right. I mean, we've got to watch out for these people.
Yeah, he's got a good point, and we'll answer
Yeah, he
all these
does.
points next week. And
Hmm.
I have finally narrowed it down to one producer who will take care of this broadcast and put all the overlays and run the videos for us. And the next show should be um, look, these shows are great, but I want it to be perfect where I don't have to worry about which videos. We're going to show one video, and then we'll be done for the night. I want to thank everyone for showing up tonight. Cam, Gloria. You guys are on different screens now because I hit the wrong button. But
I know.
so it's okay because you know what?
Mhm.
We have gotten a lot of compliments as to our format. People like watching. We have a good interaction between us,
Well,
and
let's
we
be
talk about
quick,
relevance.
and nobody wants to watch. You know, you drag on.
Well, then you shut up with your jokes. Stand by.
I love my jokes. stand by. Come on, Rashard.
Hold on a
I'm
second.
standing by.
That's why we need a producer.
Exactly.
That,
Hang on a second.
I don't get paid for this
There's
interview.
this new bin in Lebanon.
Yeah,
that's a thrift store.
We put in a higher bid. What do you mean? We're paying her to not talk.
If that's what you guys want to do.
Protest card. Enjoy.
Hey, you guys heard it here first, guys. They're paid protesters. I just caught it on camera.
And with that, I'm going to call it a
yep.
night. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Au revoir. Ciao. Auf Wiedersehen. Tschüss.
Juice.